All right, you guys. So today we're going to be talking about Kayla Malec and the incredibly awful situation she has faced. One that has unfortunately spiraled into a spectacle involving so many other people who are intent on making this about themselves. And unfortunately, we will also be discussing James Charles and how he just completely betrayed his friend in one of the most unimaginable ways. But just a quick heads up, this situation is intense, and some of the things Kayla has gone through in this situation are just, I have no words for it. So we'll be discussing the DV she went through within the 9 months of her relationship. So just please be mindful of that before going in. And if you find this content important or informative, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so for those of you who don't know who Kayla Malec is, she is I think she's 20 years old. She's a YouTuber as well as TikTok. She is super massive on TikTok. She has 17 million followers, and she's known for like her makeup, lifestyle, travel. She just posts kind of like lifestyle content over on TikTok. And she started when she was really young and just grew tremendously. She's done so many collabs with other big name creators and makeup artists, like unfortunately James Charles. I think she got her makeup done by Michaela Noguera, and a lot of people recognize her, and I actually recognize her from her freckles because she has a very distinct look. I think she's super cute, but a lot of people online bullied her for her freckles. And I hope this teaches us to just be nicer to people and that you never know what someone's going through behind closed doors. So just be nice. But it's really sad that she has gotten more hate for her freckles than James Charles has gotten throughout his career of talking to my. Anyways, about a month ago, Kayla posted a 2-part 4-hour series on her YouTube channel. So there's 2 videos and they're both like 2 hours each, called He Doesn't Love You Part 1 and 2, where she went into horrific detail of the DV she went through at the hands of her boyfriend. And unfortunately, I have to say his name. I don't want to, but you guys need to be aware of this guy. His name is Evan Johnson, and what she describes in these videos is one of the worst, most violent, horrific cases of DV that I have ever heard of. What she went through is unimaginable. And for her to come out and share her story, especially at such a young age, I really commend her for that. I feel like she just deserves so much respect and all her flowers for coming out and sharing her story, because I know that a story like this can save so many people. I know that if I would have heard this story when I was younger, I feel like maybe it would have given me the strength and showed me the red flags to look out for. And maybe I would have left my relationship a lot sooner had I seen a video like this when I was young. With that said, I know that her impact is making a huge difference, and there are already so many people sharing online that they have left their relationships after hearing her story. And I know that's what she wants from all of this and from sharing her story. She says that she just wants to save lives, and I really commend her for that, like I said. And if you are able to handle it emotionally, I really recommend you go check out her story. I'll pin it in the description, or I'll link it in the description. It's really heavy, but it's super important, and that's what this whole thing should be about. It shouldn't be about James Charles or this person, that person. It should truly be about her story and how she was able to get justice, or some semblance of justice. So, of course, after Kayla shared her story online, Evan was quick to come out with a video of his own, defending himself and just saying the most crazy things one could possibly say. And it honestly just proved Kayla's case even more, because this is just like typical abuse behavior.
The 9 months we were together, she said the whole 9 months I was abusing her. Right? Why would we go out all the time and do all these crazy adventurous stuff if the whole time it was just terrible? If I was this terrible guy, why would she be with me? She could have left me at any second. She's way more up there than me. Has more money. Like, all this stuff, she don't need me. And if she figured I was no good for her in the time being, she would have left immediately. I promise you that.
And please keep in mind, guys, while Kayla was going through all of this and this horrific abuse, She was supporting this bum. She was paying his bills, paying his rent, she said, paying his car payments, taking them on vacations, paying for like the Airbnbs and everything to get there, and paying for everything, okay?
I've paid his car payments, I've paid his rent, I've
You paid his car?
Yes, his car was about to get repoed. I sent him $2,000.
Kayla. You paid his rent? No, you didn't.
I've paid for everything. I have paid for everything in that man's life.
You paid for his rent?
His roommate was asking for help because I was like, I felt bad.
Just like
Manipulation and scared.
You were financially supporting this guy.
For our whole relationship. So that's why he's doing it.
Not that that makes this situation any worse or better or anything like that, but it's just something to note that she's supporting this person, and the way he repaid her was by hitting her. Just beyond crazy. Now, during Coachella weekend, which was just not that long ago at the time of filming this, a video was released with some information which Kayla had already known about, but nonetheless, information that the public was not aware of.
Just letting everyone in Australia know that James Charles is sleeping with Evan Johnson, the one that broke Kayla Malec's jaw and badly beat and abused her, the one that was in prison. James Charles has been housing this motherfucker, flying him out to sleep with him.
Now, at this point, Kayla had not addressed this situation with James publicly because she was going through a lot behind the scenes, getting ready to take her abusive ex to court. So she was not saying anything whether or not this was true or whether or not she knew about this to anybody publicly online. But that didn't stop one of Evan's friends, Zach Sellers, who was friends with Evan. He decided to go on a podcast called Be Better, which has its own controversies, to discuss the situation with James, making it all about himself and James. Instead of allowing Kayla to come out when she's ready, allowing her to heal and take her time with things, no. He decided to go on a podcast, talk about the situation that has nothing to do with him, and expose Evan and James. Like I said, making it all about himself and James. And at the end of this podcast episode, they decide to call Kayla on the phone, which is just like... This girl is already going through enough. Leave her alone. Just please leave her alone. Like, what is wrong with you guys? Why are you calling her?
Hi, Kayla. Hey, Kayla. We just finished with our interview. And
oh my gosh.
We just want to let you know that we love you and we support you and we're here for you if you need anything.
Thank you. I love you guys so much, and I'm like really excited to see you guys.
Yes, I love you, Kayla.
I love you guys.
Have a good day.
Have a nice Thank day. You too, guys. Love you all.
Love you. Bye. Too. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Leave this poor girl alone. Leave her alone. Leave Brittany alone.
Leave her alone. Leave Brittany alone.
I feel like this was really, intentional and strategic of them. I feel like it was kind of manipulative. Like they did it to be like, oh, look, Kayla, she approves of this. She co-signs on me being on this podcast. When it's just like, dude, I see right through you. You don't have good intentions and you are literally clout chasing off this woman's opinions. And it's sick. Oh, jump scare. I know, I'm sorry, you guys, but I just wanted to address the fact that, Zach Sellers is saying that Kayla knew he was going to be on this podcast. And I mean, obviously she knew at some point because they ended up calling her. But I do think there's a chance that she approved of Zach going on this podcast. And maybe she even knew that James would come up. But I don't think she expected it to get so drawn out or for him to flip the narrative and make it all about himself. And by drawn out, I mean what ends up happening next, where he's on TikTok Live, not shutting up about the situation and not shutting up about James. But we'll get to that point in a second. It kind of turned into like an expose solely about James. He probably just told her that he was going on there to talk about what he saw and answer a few questions. I really can't imagine she would be okay with him sharing personal parts of her story, especially about her abuse, and then centering it around himself and James. I'm sure she did want James exposed and some way, because at the time she wasn't saying much, she wasn't defending herself, and she had made it clear that she wouldn't be speaking up until after the court hearing. So it makes sense that maybe she wanted some information out there, just enough to stop people from blindly siding with James or acting like he's some amazing person. But I genuinely don't think she expected it to go down like this. Not at that level. You know what I mean? Again, what do I know? These are just my opinions. Don't come for me. It's just so disgusting to see how many people have been trying to get famous and get attention off of her literal abuse. It's disgusting. Anyways, in this podcast episode, Zach Sellers makes a lot of claims, which I don't know which are true or untrue, but he says that he knows with 100% certainty that Evan Johnson and James Charles had a sexual relationship.
So let's go back a little bit to James Charles' involvement. Would it be fair to say that you felt like the nature of their relationship was definitely sexual?
It was 100% sexual.
And he said that he has seen proof of this with his own eyes. After this podcast went live, Zach Sellers decided to get on TikTok Live and start begging for gifts and galaxies.
Let Kayla know. I let her know the two big gifters. I only had two last night because I just started mentioning this. Kyron, I just got it. Okay, thank you so much. K-A... Can you send a message in the chat, Kyron? K-A-R-R-Y-N. Bro, I love you guys. Guys, 15 seconds. Let's go crazy. Drop something crazy. With the money gun! Yes! I love you. That was insane. MVP. Guys, I know y'all can't comment, but y'all want to battle again? All right, let's make okay, we're getting intense on this one. I'm getting ready. Woo!
You know what I imagine people over there being like, can't comment?
Oh, they're hating this.
You know Dobby that like hits himself with like
I'm propping this up. We're about to go crazy on some gifts. Imagine trying to make yourself the victim in your friend's DV case. Ask Kayla. I'm just as part as that case than she is. I literally...
Y'all try to say stuff that hurts.
Making it all about himself, just completely disgusting. And yet making it about Kayla. Oh, but let's go after James. Oh, but this is still about Kayla. Oh, but we need to lock James up. And decided to make awareness bracelets and make Kayla the CEO of the company. Like, dude, Kayla has so much going on right now with court. Not only did she have court in Tennessee, but she is also looking to pursue and press charges in other states as well, like New York, California, Hawaii, because of everything he's done to her in all these different states. Yet this guy is pressuring her to make bracelets with him, awareness DV bracelets, make her the CEO.
I kind of like it. So you guys can literally, if y'all want to hate. Like, I mean, all it's doing is giving me views, and I can use the money towards the charity. So thank you, and I promise you that Kayla's going to say thank you as well.
Literally not profiting off.
Guys, I literally selling merch. I am selling bracelets. In my video earlier, I was so mad that I was like, you know what? Since you are saying all this, I am going to drop merch, and it's going to say bye sisters. That is not, like, we've joked about it on lives. People have joked about, oh, make bye sister merch, this and that. You should say this. It's been a joke. But if he wants to go that route, I'm not a millionaire. So absolutely, I will sell bye sister merch. So he's going to pay my legal fee somehow. I promise you that. And then at the end, he's definitely going to have to pay my lawyer off.
Is also the bracelets and stuff is gonna be a non-profit.
The bracelets and the merch for mental health and DV is completely non-profit. The Bi Sisters is something totally different.
He's a leech, okay? Zach Sellers is a leech. Just so insane. But now it's time for some good news and to bring the attention back on Kayla where it belongs, because after all, she's the only person in this situation. The story should solely be about Kayla, but unfortunately, it's about all these other people as well, because they have decided to insert themselves into her situation. So on May 7th, 2025, Kayla Malec won her case against her abusive ex-boyfriend, Evan Johnson.
And just like that, justice was served.
justice was served. I'm like really happy right now. I'm gonna probably start sobbing, but I'll tell you all the details. But I won. I won.
And what should have been a very joyful and empowering moment for Kayla after everything she's endured was quickly overshadowed because literally just an hour after her victory, James' sister snake Charles decided to post his raggedy ass response. Now, before I play it, let's just be real. If you don't already know, James Charles is a professional when it comes to apology videos and dodging accountability. He has been an influencer since he was young and has been involved in drama and controversies ever since the start of his career. He literally started his career by faking and photoshopping his school photos. So he is known to be deceptive and manipulative, and he's known to manipulate his young audience, getting them to forgive him. And he's media trained so well. He knows how to be on. When the camera's on, he knows how to act. He knows how to play things up. He knows how to make people feel sorry for him. So anybody, and this is like a known thing, right? So anybody who still believes him at this point, I think you're either a child or you need some serious help, because this guy is not to be trusted, in my opinion. With that said, I'm going to play his response video just in whole without me interrupting, because if I were to point out all of his lies and inconsistencies, we would be stopping every 2 seconds. I think he's full of shit. He is always full of shit, and I never trust a word that comes out of his mouth.
I do not support Evan Johnson in any way, shape, or form. Let me make that fucking clear. I don't support him, I don't support violence against women, and I sure as hell do not support the disgusting, deplorable, violent, heinous acts that he committed against Kayla Malec behind closed doors. I really fucking hope and pray that when this goes to court this week, Kayla gets justice for what that man put her through. At the same time, the videos that I'm currently seeing all over my For You page are disturbing to me. This is not TikTok tea and drama for everyone else's entertainment. This is real people dealing with some really serious shit. The conversation has completely shifted focus away from Kayla Malec and how she was brave enough to speak out about what she went through to how James Charles involved, the downfall, By Sister 2.0, where's the apology video? It's distracting from the actual issue at hand, which is domestic violence. I have not spoken out about this for a couple of different reasons. The main one being, this is going to court this week. Anything I or anybody else says online can and probably will be used by either Evan's defense attorney or the judge to affect the outcome of its ruling. And I didn't want to put Kayla at any risk for that. I hate that I'm getting online and filming this video right now, but I truthfully have no other choice because I've also spent the last several weeks trying to get in contact with the only person involved in this that actually matters and needs to hear the truth, and that's Kayla Malec. And she has been unwilling to have a conversation with me. And frankly, I don't fucking blame her. After I watched the laughable interview between Be Better and Zach Sellers, I wouldn't want to have a conversation with me either if I was being fed complete bullshit lies and misinformation from the person whose only source of information is the same man that lied to and abused me for 9 months straight. At this point, I have no choice other than to get online, tell my story, and then prove my story to be true in a court of law. I am suing Zach Sellers and anybody else that thinks it's funny or entertaining to get online and spread defamatory and slanderous lies, misinformation, completely bullshit, made-up stories for the sake of views, likes, engagement, and galaxies. I'm done. This all started at the beginning of 2025 when I reached out to Kayla about her and Evan being in a Valentine's Day video together. She told me she couldn't. She was crashing out because they had just broken up because he was crazy. I tried to lighten the mood a little bit and make a lighthearted joke asking could I have him now, and then asked what actually happened between them. All she told me was that he did awful things to her and that I would find out more in her 30-part TikTok series. She said she was upset that she helped build his platform based off of lies and abuse, and whenever she was healed, she was going to get online and expose him. I'm going to be so honest, I did not take this conversation very seriously. And obviously, now knowing what we all do, I fucking should have. Reading it back now, it is super clear that she was using humor to cope, and that is perfectly fine and valid. But at the time, I genuinely interpreted these messages as a messy breakup. Maybe he cheated, maybe they got into a drunken argument that ended badly. I could have never imagined what she was actually going through behind the scenes. A lot of Kayla's own friends and family have said they had no idea what she was going through. I wish I could go back in time and been there for her, tried to help her. I wish that I would have asked more questions, but frankly, I didn't feel comfortable doing so. First and foremost, she obviously wasn't ready to talk about it yet based on her last message. And secondly, me and Kayla Malec just weren't close friends. I don't say that to take away from her feelings about this. I don't say that to undermine what she went through. We've only met a couple of times. We collabed in 2023. She guest starred on a podcast with me in 2024, and we hung out at our mutual friend's Halloween party back in October. We've never hung out one-on-one. We've never had a deep conversation. I just really didn't know her that well to be able to interpret these messages and have a better idea of what was actually happening behind closed doors. And I wish more than anything I did, because I should have never gotten involved with this, but I did not know what she was going through. I really fucking hate to admit it, but I did have a brief friendship with Evan Johnson that started and ended well before I ever learned about any of the violence that was going on behind the scenes. He reached out to me a couple of days later asking me for advice and told me the same exact story that Zach Sellers believed and then repeated on the Be Better podcast, which was that the relationship was toxic, they both said things and did things that they shouldn't have, and a bunch of other stories that genuinely made me believe Evan Johnson was the victim in the situation. He told me that he moved back to Nashville to go to church and get therapy and try to become a better man, and he seemed vulnerable. He seemed real, and he seemed scared that Kayla was going to get online and start telling lies about him. And he knew exactly what to say to relate it back to a situation that I was in that made me have sympathy for him and be on his side. I feel so fucking dumb for ever believing him, but when I was in a similar situation, all I cared about was anybody treating me like a human being and hearing me out and being there for him, so that's what I tried to provide. We became closer, we would start FaceTiming, he was very suicidal and depressed, and eventually he told me that he wanted to come out to LA to escape and get his mind off of things for a weekend, so I invited him out. All we did was sit on the couch, order food, watch movies, but over the course of the weekend, I slowly started to notice that some of his stories were not exactly lining up. There were inconsistencies, and I started to get worried that I might be on the wrong side of things, and that was confirmed as soon as Kayla noticed that he was at my house and I had to lie to her. I didn't know what to do. I realized then that I was in the middle of a very fucking messy situation that I should have never gotten involved with in the first place, but this man was staying with me and I didn't know how to get out of it. Later on that night, I told Evan straight up I was uncomfortable, I was upset that I had to lie to her, and that we could not hang out any further. He respected that, and the next morning, he flew home. As soon as Evan left LA, I immediately started making myself unavailable to him because I recognized that he was not the man he was telling me he was. But it wasn't until a month later, when Kayla uploaded her video, He Doesn't Love You, that I actually got to sit and watch how much of a monster he is. My jaw was on the floor for all 2 hours of that video. I could not believe what I was watching and seeing. The horrendous verbal abuse, the violent physical abuse. I was shocked. I was ashamed for not taking me and Kayla's conversation more seriously. I was embarrassed for ever believing that man's lies and manipulation. And I was angry with myself that I ever allowed that man into my home. It was horrifying, and I'm so proud of Kayla for being able to speak up. A couple of days later, I started getting messages on Instagram from Zach Sellers, Evan's best friend, basically warning me that Evan had lied to both of us and telling me that I should cut him off. I didn't see these messages at first until he made a public TikTok accusing me of still supporting Evan behind the scenes, and I messaged him right away because I was confused. His messages genuinely seemed nice. He seemed like he was checking in, warning me to make sure that I was okay and have cut Evan off because he knew that we were both told the same exact lies and stories from Evan. The only reason he even knew I was involved at all was because he was physically with Evan as his best friend, supporting him every single day. It took me 3 days with Evan to realize that something wasn't right here. It took Zach 3 months. So to act this way privately and then to get online as if I'm some monster was wild to me. What started off as a video of James Charles supporting Evan Johnson behind the scenes snowballed into more videos, more content, and then live streams. Every single night, Zach has been live asking for galaxies in exchange for showing more receipts. He's been asking his followers for their cities and locations so he can go on tour with Kayla after this is all over with. He's even been asking for donations on PayPal to fund a merch line. This has nothing to do with getting justice for Kayla and everything about making an opportunity for himself. And the perfect one came along when Be Better flew him out to Canada for their podcast interview. Aside from the timeline that I just told you guys, everything else in that hour-long episode is complete bullshit. To start rumors about somebody online is one thing. Unfortunately, I know that that comes with the job, but to publicly accuse them of prostitution is ridiculous. There is no proof, no evidence of any of the ridiculous claims that Zach is making because they did not happen, which is why I have no choice other than to take legal action. But before I do that, I want to quickly take a second and clear the air on some things that have really set me over the edge. First and foremost, Evan Johnson and I did not in any way, shape, or form have a physically sexual relationship. We did not have sex while he was here, and I did not, under any circumstances, pay Evan Johnson for sexual favors. Not in person, and certainly not online through a secret OF account where I'm apparently funding his entire life. That is absurd. Not that it's anybody's business, but I do have an OF account. I'm a grown adult. I barely use it, but Zach, if you would like to see, I will gladly send you a screenshot of my transaction history. I have nothing to hide, and I have not sent Evan Johnson $1 single. Zach claims to know all this information to be true because he pressured Evan into getting drunk and telling him what happened on the trip. I don't know if Evan lied to him to make the trip seem more fun and exciting, or if Zachy literally just made this up for funsies. I would like to believe that that isn't the case and that he was manipulated in this situation as well, but he claims to have seen a video on Evan's phone of him having sex with me. Zach, post it. If you have the receipt, if you have the video evidence, you can upload it. You have my full consent and permission. I've had far worse posted to me online that I didn't consent to. Go right ahead. But you can't because there is no video of something that did not happen. Be Better doesn't even stand by these claims because he's now added a disclaimer to their interview that says he was not able to verify a single thing that Zach said. Second, there's a rumor going around that I paid Evan Johnson's bail. This is not true. It is a public record that it was Evan's family who got him out. Kayla's own sister has confirmed this.
JC did not bail out EJ. I know who did, and I cannot say anything.
Third, there's a new narrative started by Be Better that I am trying to silence anybody that talks about this issue. First and foremost, this is literally the biggest thing on TikTok right now. I don't understand how anybody could possibly assume that I'm trying to silence people, but Be Better made a video basically saying that I'm working with YouTube behind the scenes to manipulate their algorithm and get their video hidden. I truthfully wish this was possible. I've been making content for 8 long years now. There are videos on YouTube with 5, 10, 20 million views that if I could have gotten them removed, I would have. But Be Better, I know you said you're having your lawyers reach out to YouTube. So YouTube, I give you my full permission to release any communications between myself or my team to you guys about this matter because again, they don't exist. Zach has also now made a video claiming that my lawyers have reached out to him to threaten him, to silence him, and to offer him hush money. This is not true. Zach, my lawyers cannot contact you directly, so instead they emailed your modeling agency because that is the only contact you have listed. There was no threat, there was no offer, they were simply asking for the contact of your lawyers. I told you I was going to sue you, and this is what the beginning of that process looks like. It really sucks that at this point I am left with no options other than to pursue a case. As for Kayla, I am so fucking sorry that I ever got involved in this. I should have never believed his lies and manipulation. I should have never even responded back to him in the first place, and I'm sorry for hurting you. I genuinely do wish you the absolute best of luck, and I really hope that you get justice for what that man put you through.
The only thing I agree with James in this video is that it's distracting. But guess what? It wouldn't be distracting if he hadn't inserted himself and turned this into a soap opera. What I found so disgusting, I don't know which is worse, his response or these comments, but the amount of people supporting him in his comment section is just alarming because there are people saying things like the fact that he did not stutter and he didn't stutter. Like, girl, yeah, because he's a pro. He's a pro at giving apologies. He probably rehearsed this 100 times before. Who knows how long before he posted this? It was like obviously pre-filmed because he said Kayla is getting justice this week or something like that. And this was posted an hour after she won her court case.
Really hope and pray that when this goes to court this week, Kayla gets justice for what that man put her through. At the same time,
Pause.
The videos that I'm
if we listen to that closely, I hope when Kayla goes to court this week, she gets the justice she deserves. This video was pre-recorded and then consciously decided to post an hour after I win my court case. That's fucking insane. This wouldn't have been a fucking drama if you had the morals to not take it as far as you did. If you morally were correct in this situation, the second I told you we broke up and there was abuse and this and that, you would have not that same day gone and DM'd Evan and sent screenshots of our messages and built a friendship with him and then fly him out. This wouldn't be a drama if you did not do the things that you did.
Obviously, it was pre-filmed, and it's just like, yeah, he didn't stutter because he probably had help writing this. He probably has a team of people helping him, and he rehearsed it. What do you mean? Anyways, after that video was posted by James, Zach Sellers decided to come out with his own response in just the most unhinged way, and again, making it all about himself, making himself look worse, and just like, it's unhinged. I have no other way of explaining this besides just like crazy and unhinged.
Hey James, so I'm on here because I'm responding to your video because you're going to sue me and I can't wait to receive those papers and take this to court because everything I have spoken about is the absolute truth. Kind of crazy that you've been blowing the hell out of Kayla's phone up and she's not responding to you because she knows what you are and she knows the character that you are and she knows it's the absolute truth. And then you want to bring up Kayla's messages, my messages, but where are your and Evan's messages off Instagram? Oh wait, it was vanish mode. But just because it was vanish mode does not mean that we can't get a hold of those messages. Because when this goes to court, we will be able to get all of your Instagram messages. And I'm scared for whenever they get over to your Instagram and see all of your Instagram messages and all of your vanish mode because you don't want no one to take screenshots because who you think you are and who you are. But I'm scared that there's going to be all these little kids that are going to have to come forward because of all your past allegations. They're going to also look at characters. They're going to look at my character from the past and they're going to look at your character from the past. And your character from the past is absolutely sick. You literally have videos of you admitting everything, which is absolutely sick. You are a sick human being. I cannot wait to take this to court. You will be canceled, and you do not deserve a platform at no means whatsoever. Also, you want to bring up, yeah, I've been going live. Absolutely, I've been going live. And you know what? Just because you said that, I will be dropping Bye Sister merch, because there's no more sister. You're going to fall off of this platform. I don't care how much energy this takes and how many people have to keep doing this, but I will not give up. You're fucking with the wrong one now, buddy, because I won't give up. You think I'm nice until you try to lie and try to cover up all of the allegations that you done because you're sick and you know that you're going to be canceled. I'm not going to let that happen by no means. So also, you wanted to bring up that you reached out to my modeling agency, your legal team did, and because that was the right way to do it, so be it. Okay, if that was the right way to do it, then let that be. But my legal team has already been in touch with yours. We're waiting on the papers because we will be subpoenaing your phone. No matter if you have 1, 2, 3, 4 phones, whatever. Because I do know there has been kids that have reached out to me and have shown me evidence where you have said, don't take screenshots. And also, the Instagram messages have been on vanish mode. So this is not just, you taking up for, DV and being against Kayla. This is a lot more to it. So I cannot wait to bring this to court. So in the meantime, bye, sister.
In my opinion, Zach Sellers isn't a reliable narrator. Though some of the things I believe he has said turned out to be true, I don't believe we can trust everything he says because, as we'll see, he himself has turned out to be quite a snake as well. And I do believe he's doing things and has ulterior motives. Also, I believe that he was trying to get with James Charles at one point because he has been shown to be in his DMs at the very beginning and James wasn't really responsive to him. So it seems as though he had no problem with the allegations against James. Only now that it suits him does he have an issue with it. Anyways, it didn't take long for young men to start coming out with their own stories of allegations against Zach Sellers. Yeah, the guy who said this.
But I'm scared that there's going to be all these little kids that are going to have to come forward because of all your past allegations. They're going to also look at characters. They're going to look at my character from the past, and they're going to look at your character from the past. And your character from the past is absolutely sick.
Turns out, Zach Sellers has many accusations of him doing similar things that James Charles has been accused of.
With the James Charles situation going on, a name that keeps getting brought up is Zach Sellers. Now, me and Zach Sellers have interacted before when I was a minor and he was a full-grown adult lying about his age. Now, at the time of these, I was only 14 years old. Another one. And now this one is when I was still 14, and with proof and a timestamp, then I found that he was lying about his age. Not only would he do that, he would ask for pictures constantly and send unsolicited pictures of himself. Now this is 1 year later after he would non-stop call and text me. I'm only making this so people stop giving him attention and interacting with him and supporting him for whatever reason. He's a disgusting person who deserves nothing.
Devin isn't the only person who's come out with allegations like this. There are plenty more. In fact, if I were to go through all of them, that would be a video in itself. But Zach Sellers' account after this was hacked. And keep in mind, this whole time, the only person who truly matters in all of this, Kayla Malec, has still not said anything about the situation or responded to James at all. That was until 3 days ago when she finally responded with a 3-part series on TikTok. Let's watch each part and then we'll talk about it.
Well, I'm sure by now everybody knows about the situation with me and James. And everybody has told their side of the story except me. And in my opinion, I was the one fucked over. So it's only fair for me to tell my side of the story, how I was fucked over. And I wanted to wait a little bit, have a little bit more time to just relish in the fact that I won in court. But the response video was posted,
the text word for word. I'm going to green screen this part. Everything else I'm inserting in, but I want to read this word for word. So yeah, do you want to be in a painted video with your man? I explained that we broke up. I was going to do a 30-part series. And mind you, he is the only person that I told, because this is a day after we officially broke up, he is the only person I told about a, quote, 30-part series that I was going to film about what I had went through. He goes, what? I go, girl, he's fucking crazy. And then there we go. What happened? Can I have him now? Once again, didn't really think much of it, but my senses were a little bit heightened now after the whole Hawaii Instagram DMing situation, but whatever. Then tell him, imagine the worst things a human can do. It would take hours to text, but you'll see the series soon. He then asks again about if I'm actually doing a series, which I'll explain why that has a lot to do with more going on. But he asks again about the series, then says, I'm sorry. And I go, oh, just wait. I gave this man a platform based off his lies and abuse. I'm gonna wait to heal from it and then clock it, which I did do. And then he goes, shit, I'm sorry, Kayla. And I said, you're good. Thank you. So that was the last time we texted until he flew Evan out to California. But in these, I made it pretty clear that Evan had fucked me over. I brought up abuse, the worst thing a human can do. I mean, I obviously did not go into depth with what I had went through. At this point, like James said in his video, my friends didn't even know, my family didn't even know the full story. Nobody knew the full story. And obviously, I don't expect him to sit there and ask, oh, well, what happened? I don't expect him to do that. I get feeling uncomfortable in that situation, but I made it have to. And also shut the fuck up. I'm not on the creator program. I'm not getting paid for any of this shit. I'm just clocking the fucking tea. So part 2.
Okay, so I just want to talk about how Kayla said that they weren't really best friends. And honestly, I don't think that matters at all. You don't do something like that to somebody, even if they are just an acquaintance. How did she say it? Acquaintance? You don't do that to somebody regardless. And the fact that James Charles was only reaching out to her to let her know that he thought her boyfriend was hot really says a lot about him. That's just completely inappropriate. It's disgusting. It's predatory. I've had a lot of gay friends in my past who have always thought my boyfriends were hot or tried to hit on them in like a goofy way. And it always made me really uncomfortable, and I always found it extremely inappropriate. And let's be real here. James Charles has a history of this. He has a history of not only messaging minors, but also preying on straight men. And when he is told that, James, these men are straight, he takes it as a challenge. He likes it. It's like a thrill to him. And that is, like I said, incredibly predatory. Like, why do you think boundaries only apply to straight girls, James? Boundaries matter no matter who you are. Boundaries don't just apply to women or girls your age. I hate when, and I'm not saying all gay guys are this way, but I've had gay friends in the past who thought that boundaries didn't apply to them, or thought that they could hit on my boyfriend and thought it was funny, or, see if he had a gay side. And I don't think that's like a common thing, but I know that it does happen, and it is damaging, and it's wrong. And if James wasn't close to Kayla, then he definitely wasn't close to Evan, because he literally only knew Evan because of Kayla. So if you choose to believe anyone, it should be the person that you already knew. Yet somehow he had no problem believing Evan over Kayla. And why is that? Also, I do find it super suspicious that if Kayla and James barely talked, then he just happens to DM her after their breakup. It seems as though, if I were to say, in my opinion, it seems as though he already knew something or heard something, and he was only messaging Kayla to get confirmation himself. Like, maybe he already had a suspicion that they had broken up, or maybe Evan said something about them breaking up. Maybe Evan reached out to him, and then that's why he reached out to Kayla, just to get confirmation that they were no longer together. Clearly, James wanted something from Evan, or wanted to get with Evan. Otherwise, why would he be reaching out to him and sending him selfies when he's literally with Kayla, when he has a girlfriend? And what's even funnier is that people have been clipping that photo of James and spamming it under his videos, and it's hilarious. Okay, let's play part 2.
So basically, obviously, I don't expect him to ask me, oh, well, what happened? And I don't expect him to want to know the full story. I get being uncomfortable doing that, but I 100% think that in these messages, I made it crystal fucking clear that what he put me through was not okay. It was not normal, and it was an abusive relationship. I just think I made that clear. And then reply, I got so pissed off. How did you get to the point for him to manipulate you? I told you he abused me the day we broke up. Then you texted him that day that I told you that. But I'd rather talk to you about this tomorrow. You met him because he was my boyfriend.
After that, James did try to reach out multiple times. He wanted to meet up and talk, and I'll give him credit for that. I can tell he feels guilty. He was blowing me up for days and days after that, wrote me long paragraphs, just a lot of stuff. I personally decided not to respond. I decided not to meet up with him because, quite frankly, what the fuck do you have to say? And after waiting for him to come out with his response video, I'm honestly happy I didn't meet up with him to hear what he had to say, because it clears up nothing for me.
So glad Kayla's mature enough to realize that this would not be a big, huge drama situation if things ended where they should have, and that she didn't do anything wrong. James is a sister snake, not just for DMing her friend's boyfriend, but also running and feeding information about her to him and backstabbing her like that. James, you're pathetic. You hear me? Pathetic. And you will always be the side bitch. Disgusting, James. You're disgusting. And she straight up asks him. She gives him an out. She gives him the chance to be honest, and he responds, What? Your ex, Evan? Like, bitch, what do you mean? That was your chance. That was literally your chance right there to be honest. And you couldn't even do that. You try to fuck her man, you backstab her, you feed him information about her, and you can't even be honest with her. James is sick. This guy is sick. And he needs some serious help mentally upstairs, because he ain't right. And by the way, I don't believe for a second that he feels guilty. I don't believe that. I think he's literally only guilty that he got caught. I don't think he's learned anything from these controversies. I don't think he feels bad for texting minors. This is all my opinion. I think that he only has learned how to respond to things, like what the proper response is. If I don't address certain things, it won't make it a bigger deal. I think his only regrets are how he's responded to things. That's what I think. And leave it to James to make himself the victim in every situation. How he goes, oh, he manipulated me too. Like, girl, how did you even allow yourself to get manipulated? Oh, that's right, because you were fucking your friend's boyfriend, allegedly. We don't feel bad for you. We don't feel sorry for you. And, James tries to make it a big deal in his video, like, oh, we didn't have sex, we didn't hook up, like, this OnlyFans thing is not true, blah, blah, blah. Like, that is the least of our concerns. I don't care whether or not you fucked him. That doesn't even matter. I know I just said that you fucked her boyfriend, but I don't know whether that's true or not. Maybe you didn't. But the fact that nobody cares about that, like literally nobody gives a fuck whether you fucked him, because regardless, you still fucked over Kayla in the worst unimaginable way. So whether or not you fucked Evan that's just like the cherry on top. You still have the cake, the icing, and everything else. So you still did all this other shit. Whether or not you fucked him, it doesn't matter, At this point, that's how bad what you did was. The fact that if you fucked him or not literally doesn't even matter at this point, because what you've done is already far worse. But anyways, let's get on to part 3. And damn, does this girl know how to tell a story? Because girl, I'm sat.
I'm just going to end this here. I just think it's a load of bullshit. And watching the apology video quite literally pissed me off even more, because I can genuinely appreciate to where you now feel guilty. And I don't think that you still support him. I don't think that at all. I know once I posted the proof, you probably dropped him. I'm not doubting that. It's the fact that my word was not believed. My text messages of me saying that it was abusive, that he did the worst things a human could possibly do, those were taken lightheartedly. And then you went and DM'd him and formed a friendship with my ex-boyfriend, believed everything he was saying about being depressed and suicidal, and you wanted to sit there and be there for him, and you believed everything that came out of his mouth, but not mine? That's fucking crazy to me. How are you going to sit there and take everything to heart that my ex-boyfriend is saying, that you met through me, but not what I'm saying? That makes zero fucking sense. You know what I'm saying? Or do I sound delusional? Am I just like salty? Ew, that was so cringy to say. Or like genuinely, do I just sound bitter in this situation? Do I sound bitter, or like do I have a fucking point? I do not think that if I did not find out through TikTok, and if this shit was not made public, I do not think I would have ever found out. I don't think I ever would have received a "I've felt guilty for weeks" text. I don't think I would have gotten that at all. I do not think I would have gotten an apology or he would have owned up to it and texted me about it if it had not been made public. And I think there's proof to that because he kept it a secret literally up until he went public with it. And then also it does leave a bad taste in my mouth that, listen, I get it. If your name's being slandered and you want to clock that shit, fucking clock it. I get it. But to do it an hour after I win the court case is fucking crazy, in my opinion. 1 hour after I announced that I win the court case, here's a 10-minute video, and all my comments are now flooded with, "Did you see James's new video? You couldn't even wait till the fucking 8th? Like, that's crazy to me. And I get it. You wanted to clear the air. I get that. But to not even wait 3 hours? Not even an hour and a half? What the fuck? I mean, at that point, damn. Sorry. I'm just like, I'm crashed out. Like, it has been so hard to sit here and not say fucking shit when all of this is going on, and then seeing the apology video, I don't know. I just have a lot of thoughts, and I don't think this is like a pick sides thing. I don't think there's sides in this. It's just a story. I think that he fucked up. James fucked up, and he fucked me over, and it was a shitty thing to do. I do find it interesting, though, that James posted conversation receipts with everybody. Me, a clip from my sister's live stream, like everybody's receipts except for his Instagram DMs with my ex-boyfriend. If they're not already deleted. And I don't know. I think the timing of everything was weird. I think the receipts were odd. That's basically my side of the story. They had been DMing in Hawaii in January while we were still together. James would only DM me to say how hot he was. Apparently, from what I was told, which I don't know how trustworthy my abusive ex was, but told me that James had DM'd him the day that we broke up. So I don't know. And also, I do think it is fishy to create such a friendship with somebody off of being attracted to them. Because I don't know what the fuck they would have in common besides the fact that James thought he was hot. And then to fly him out, I don't know. I don't know if I could think a guy was really hot, fly him out, and just like want a friendship. I don't fucking know. There's just so much going through my head. But yeah, no, moral of the story, I appreciate acknowledging how you feel guilty. I appreciate acknowledging what you did. I just don't think that would have happened at all if you hadn't been caught for it. But yeah, that's my side, and I don't fucking know what else to say. Holy fucking shit, this has been like the hardest thing to keep my mouth shut on. But yeah, this was a lot longer than I thought it would need to be. I thought it was only going to be a 10-minute video, but holy fucking shit. A bitch is pissed. A bitch has been pissed. And I've just wanted to sit here and relish in the court shit. But for some fucking how, James made this like a drama. Or James didn't. I don't know who the fuck did it, but this whole thing became like a fucking drama. Like, what the fuck? So yeah. I'm still trying to process winning court, let alone all of this bullshit. But yeah. I don't fucking know, y'all. This shit is just as confusing to me as it is to y'all. I don't know what the fuck happened while they were in LA. I'll never fucking know the truth, but I don't know. I'm just gonna stop talking. I feel like I could honestly talk about this for hours. I could literally go on about this for hours, but yeah. Love y'all. Happy Wednesday. I feel like old me wouldn't have even fucking like said shit, but I'm so past the point of like letting shit fucking slide. I was fucked over, so I don't know. I don't feel bad telling my side when everybody else got to tell theirs, and I'm not trying to make this a fucking drama, but became one when you flew my ex-boyfriend out. Oh, I talk too much. I fucking talk too much. This is 30 fucking minutes. Jesus Christ.
Before we move on, I just want to say that, you know, we already know how I feel about James Charles. Not only did he fuck over Kayla, but he housed her abusive ex and fed him information about her, but in my opinion, tried to fuck him as well. Otherwise, he wouldn't be saying constantly, oh, he's so hot, he's so hot. Again, not that that matters. That's the least of our concerns because he already screwed her over in so many ways. But it just says a lot about James and the type of person that he is. He is scum of the earth, you guys. And the fact that he has so many people still supporting him is just disgusting to me. How this guy has a platform. It's like, it's shocking. Absolutely shocking. Anyways, so I just wanted to say that before I read James's response on his IG story. He said, I watched Kayla's videos last night and I'm grateful that she did not feed into the lies she was told by Zach, while also expressing how I upset her. I said it in my original video and I'll say it again. Kayla, I'm sorry I was ever involved with this compulsive liar, her boyfriend, you should have said, and I'm even more sorry that my involvement hurt you. She said in her video that she wasn't sure which stories from Evan were true, and it seems there is some confusion about my involvement before their breakup. I want to make it clear I absolutely did not pursue Evan or have a secret plot to take him from Kayla. As you will see, Evan reached out to me multiple times. I politely responded and then ended the conversation. I offered to privately share all of these messages directly with Kayla so she could see what actually happened, but now I will share them publicly to hopefully make it clear. And then he posted screenshots of their messages, which I don't really care to read because he didn't post the messages with Evan after their breakup, which is really what we want to see because you were still messaging him when they were together. You may not have been like, ooh, I want to fuck you, but what were you saying to him after they broke up, after Kayla told you that he did the worst things a person could do to another human, or whatever she said, or when she even mentioned abuse? What did you say to Evan after that? What did you say to Evan about the 30-part series? Was that in the messages or was that a phone call? So I find it really odd that he shows the messages up until their breakup and not after. So why is that? Another thing I find interesting is that Kayla said on her podcast, I forget what her podcast is called. I think it's called like Banging Out or something like that. I'll put it in the description. But she said in her podcast with Jacob Sartorius that she was offered 6 figures by someone. She didn't say who. By someone to stay quiet, to stop talking about this, to not talk about the situation. So who is that from? A lot of people obviously online are speculating that it was James, but we don't know for sure. So I'm curious what you guys think.
And people are offering me money to not say shit, and I'm not taking it. I'm getting offered like hush money,
and not only like, is it okay if I say, like, just to give the people at home kind of a reference of how much money you're being offered?
6 figures.
Like $250,000.
Yeah.
To basically hold back from talking about something that's part of your story.
Yeah. Like, and I'm not taking any of it. This is not about money to me at all. And I will continue to tell my story and tell the truth. And you could wave a fucking $10 million check in front of me and I'm not touching it. Like, I don't take us money.
I mean, nah.
Period.
Like that,
clock it.
Yeah.
So I know this situation got really ugly and I wish we were just talking about Kayla's victory, but I wanted to show you guys how these leeches, these nasty leeches, have just completely turned her story of abuse into a story about themselves or involving themselves. And it's so crazy. I read somebody say, like, leave it to a man to make a woman's abuse about themselves. And it's just like, I couldn't say it better myself, girl. So, I just want to take a moment to commend Kayla for how strong and brave she's been through all of this. I know she's helping so many women and young girls by sharing her story. We've already seen so many women come out and say that she gave them the strength to leave, and a lot of them are now sharing their stories as well on TikTok. I'm so glad she won her court case. Congratulations. I'm glad she got a sliver of justice. I know it will never amount to what she went through, but at least this guy will hopefully have more consequences coming his way because he deserves it. It breaks my heart that she has to deal with these people trying to profit off her trauma, and I just hope that she continues to surround herself with people who love her and care for her, like her family and her twin sister and her best friend, and just stays away from these leeches. Anyways, guys, that's my video. Thank you so much for listening. Please take a moment to like it if you can and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time.